as the name suggests, animation and transition is our training topic today. One of the most important thing about animation is it helps user behavior, enhance the user behavior. It will give you a feel good factor. Why this needs to happen. So we will see how we do this at a later point of time. But before starting this, something that needs to be understood before going to animation and transition is about SVG components or drawing components. It is SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Now, anybody can ask, why do we need this? So one of the main advantage of having SVGs is the type of animation and the crispness that you see in any small device to very huge device or display. It retains similar kind of characteristics. The font pixelation or the image, everything happens in a similar way. So that is the advantage of having SVGs. So it uses basic graphic elements and it will try to build components out of it. So you can see another way of building components today. So, and along with this, we will see how animation comes into picture. So let us begin with a very basic, like how we start always. Let us start with an empty project. Okay. So the network bandwidth might be the problem. Usually I will do this and keep it ready. Let it sync. Gradle sync is happening, so it is configuring the project. And we have our first page. So as usual, we'll directly go and see in the preview whether everything is fine. So if you guys have started, so let us start with the SVG components, and from then we will start using animations. Okay. So one of the key aspect of SVG is we need to always have a root component as SVG. Inside that only we can have multiple SVG components or any other SVG component, another set of SVG. So one of the basic thing we will understand again is about viewport. Somebody who has worked in okay, so viewport is or view box is something very particular to SVG components, where we are trying to show how much is the view option in the layout. Let me explain this with an example. Let us first define a simple. You can, anybody who is working along with me can start parallelly developing this. So I've just created 400 by 400 size on SVG area. So now inside it, I will create a rectangle. So here we have a rectangle where the X you can give as 0. It starts at 0. Y also we can make it as 0. Let us give some width, maybe 80. Height, let us make it 100. And we want to so what exactly happened? Can anybody tell me over there? Okay, let me do this. So this is a basic thing, right? What we were doing all this time. It is the same thing. Mhm. So this is how a normal rectangular component you define. But when I add a view box to it, so now I will tell how the view box should be. So it is a pairing of 100 x-axis, and this is how I am showing the width. So what exactly happened here? So here I have a component where it was trying to occupy the entire screen, my entire phone. In that 100 by 100 is very small. But at the same time, where I give a view box, where a viewing angle to the user, where I'm trying to say this entire thing is only 100 by 100. So what happened? The entire screen, what you are seeing is fully occupied. So it is not understanding the SVG here is not thinking about the container options. It is only thinking about the view options. It might sound confusing. Let us see more examples. Through that, I will explain a little bit more. So let me put this. Okay. So let us add another SVG and put the rect inside that SVG. So inside this SVG, I will give a relatively small than the original one. Here I am giving 200. So I will take that viewport what I have defined there and put this number. Now, did you see what exactly happened? Now the root component area, I reduced it by 200 by 200, but from the view box point, I'm trying to tell occupy 100% of it. So what happens here? The rectangle which is of size 100 by 100, here also I am giving width and height as 100 by 100 is equal. Does it make sense? Let us take another example now and see we can improvise on top of this. Since we are at it, let us also give some coordinates to it. It's equal to 0. So you can see relatively it is working. What we are trying to tell, it is working. So one other important thing we can see here is use inspect element to understand what it is. When I see the overall SVG, you can see how it is. It is 400 by 400 what we have. But when I go inside another SVG, it is actually a very small rectangle that we are taking. That is only the green rectangle or a square box in our case we have taken. Okay, let us understand it much more thoroughly now. If at all this session becomes a little bit long, more than 1 hour, Wilfred, please inform me. We can extend it in another session because this is a little bit different from regular components and I want everybody to understand this. Okay. So next, let us say I want view box to be, let us increase the view box. Did you see any difference? You didn't see any difference. The reason being, I have filled it with green. So if I do red, can somebody explain me what happened now? The size remained the same, but the viewport, what I mentioned, I doubled it. So what happened here was for the 100 by 100 viewport, whatever is the size of rectangle that you are defining, now the same size of rectangle you have to put in a viewport of 200 by 200. That means you have squeezed with the relative appearance that you are having a viewport of 200 by 200, but still the rectangle is 100 by 100. That means what? Let me take Anybody had any issue here?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I got from here, so in the view box, I do it. So in the SVG children respects view box, I do it. And the whole component respects SVG explicit hide and width property.
The children property of SVG assumes what is the status based on the SVG root component. So if SGC says I am 200 by 200, the component inside that is assuming I have a very big layout. In that I have to just put 100 by 100. Did it make sense?
No, can you please tell again?
Let me type another one. Let me add another one. Let us see what happens. Now, can you explain me if I do, instead of this, if I do 400 by 400, what happens? Here it doesn't change. So let me just give another color here. Understood? What happened? I will explain now what happened. So for blue rectangle or square, the size of the component entire thing is 400 by 400. So it's a huge space that you have given. In that, if you have to fill 100 by 100, it will look small only, right? Prashant?
Yes.
Or others? Making sense? So when I say my view size is 200 by 200, in that I have to just put 100 by 100, so it looks like this. But when I say I have a viewport of 100 by 100, that means I am occupying everything. So if I just change this, just see what happens here. What happened? It shrunk. That means we are telling to the system, my viewport is only 150 by 150. Inside this, how much ever you want to draw, it looks like that. But that is what we will go back here and see. Let me correct this again. So if you see the SVGs, I hope you guys can see this clearly. So if I see this is my root SVG. What is the width and height I have given? 400 by 400. So this is the actual thing that is it has occupied. Inside SVG, you can see here, this is the green one. You can see the yellow color highlight that is happening over there. It is 100 by 100. It is 200. The red one is again 200 by 200. And the last one is just 100 by 100. The identification is having a problem. Let me show you another one. So what I'll do here is, if I just remove viewport here, just see what happens. Okay. Did you see the difference? Now, where did the red go? Can anybody tell me where did the red go in this
I
case?
think red is below the blue rectangle.
Exactly. So that is what we have tried to achieve. So I hope this concept you guys understood somewhat. So this is one important aspect. Where it will be used, I think one of the key questions you should ask always, where is this getting used? Wherever you have to squeeze a huge data and you want to show it in a very small area, appearing, it is something like you're having a very huge image, but your image size, the display size is very small. So in the viewport, you will give a very huge size here, 1280 by 720 over here. So the image, when you shrink it will try to fit as though it is that part. The image that you are going to load inside it looks like that. So you guys can try these things, experiment these things, and you can see if anything else we can do more for this. Okay. So let us take another example now, where we will write many other behaviors of rectangle. Right now, the whole point of this exercise was to show you how view box works. So let me see. So fill is usually color. So it doesn't appear because we have to give some width. Width again we can take 400. Just a second, guys. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Then we will try to see what are the properties of vector. So here we can have width, maybe 200. So we can always give from where it should start. Maybe we can have x. It's equal to 10. Then there is an option called as stroke width. Let us see how it looks first, then we will add on that. So this is how we are seeing right now. So let's add some more properties to this. Now we have something called as stroke width. You can see, let us increase it by 4, but it doesn't appear unless until you give the color to stroke. Stroke is nothing but the outside. Some terminologies you might have to get used to it. So this is one of the option. So let's copy this and try to do something else again. So now if you do, I'm not seeing anything. Can anybody tell why?
Because I think it is under the, it is like a
Exactly.
stacked view.
Yeah.
So
So if I just do this, because the height I have given is 100, so the other one also will be in the same thing. So another important thing anybody would like to do is what? The rectangle, can I change the corners and make it look better? So it is, we have Rx factor here. So it is radius, corner radius basically. So again we will give Ry and increase it to anything. Maybe another, yeah, just to see how it is. So you can see the difference what is happening there, right? So this is about how you do it. Another thing we have is something called as I'll add in this itself so that it is easy. Stroke dashed array. So we can give this stroke array. So you see what happened. So I have given values which will actually try to tell me how I should split this dashes. It is simple, or any confusion is there? No? It's all parameters and attributes. It directly, whatever you give, it tries to work in the similar way. There is one small feature. Let me sit with this. Yes. So here inside again you can do another fill. So changes. There is another important feature called as transform. So whenever your component gets loaded, you can actually transform it to a little bit different. So you would have seen in the first training itself, I have tried to use a rotate option. Okay, it's went other side. So it was so you can see what I have tried at 30-degree angle. I have rotated this entire thing. So that is the simplest thing that we have done till now. So let us go in detail. We'll go a little bit depth now to the next set of components. So what are the other set of components that can be there? So let me take a different page for this. Whoever is staying along with me, are you guys able to do this? Another template is generated. So wherever you have a problem, hold me there. Let us discuss, and then let us give another. Let us start with another thing called circle. I think one of the most important thing that we use everywhere is circle. So something very basic. We give always some values to the entire structure. So let us give more this time. So I have created my root component. You will not see anything because there is no component on which Svg can do. So next, what we will do, we will add circle. Circle also is similar thing. Here we have another component called Cx and Cy, where it will try to tell where is your positioning of your circle that you are going to do. The main thing is R. R is what? Can anybody tell what is R?
R is for radius.
Exactly. So to identify our scope, again we will maintain scope. That should be good enough. So like what we saw in other things like rectangle, this is also same thing. Just now I explained why stroke cannot be seen, right? Stroke width, even if you have set, it is not able to see because we have not set the stroke color. So here we can give blue. So You can see immediately. So, like another important thing, if we have done circle, what is the immediate thing anybody will do? We need a ellipse in that one, right? So, what will be the key difference in ellipse? Can anybody say what is the difference between a circle and ellipse?
Constant change in radius, sir.
Come again?
Change in radius.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Radius, sir. Change in radius.
Can anybody hear him?
No, his voice is not clear. Darshan, can you speak again?
Sir, is it video, audio, sir?
I think some
We are not
problem.
able to hear you. You can type in chat box.
So here, instead of just a radius, you have two parameters. The distance from center to the circular entrance, right? So we have width to that one. So let us see what is done. Let us add another SVG and this side. It should work without that also. Let us see that. Everybody has
Can't
found
use
the issue.
self-closing tag.
Come again?
Yeah, you can't use self-closing tag. In the circle and ellipse,
Uh,
you use self-closing now. There's
that should be
error.
okay. That
No,
should be
no,
okay.
it's a
Okay.
error. In Pvt.Ltd, you can see tag ellipse can be self-closed. Cannot use
Oh,
self-closing.
oh, it is giving me an error. Good. Let's see. No, it is still telling self-closing. I think it is not that. I think it is mismatching
Yeah.
with
You have
another.
to use for circle also.
Uh, where is it? Let us try. Oh, good catch. Okay, you can see we have created a ellipse now. So now the ellipse is in elliptical way, obviously. So where we have given more of height, that is Ry is 100. So that's why it is taking that shape. So this is one simple thing. So let us move to the next set of components here. So what are the other things that can be done? So another thing is a very simple thing where our graphics components will start. That is our line. So how do we draw a line? A very simple line. So let us take another SVG for this. Let us- Okay. Just reduce the SVG size. So line, again, line is very important one. So let us give the values. when we talk about SVG, right? When line is a connection of multiple dots or lines, right? When you have a straight line or a curved line, multiple things, so you are connecting the dots. So it usually says line has 2 points. So we need x1 y1 and x2 y2 to tell where is my starting xy position and another one is my ending is xy position. So let us try that one more. X1 is equal to, let us take that we are doing x2 can be y1 is more important more than x1 because we have other components, so we can bring it down. So let us give 100 here. Y2 equal to 200. Stroke code. This is more important. Again, we will see. Let's deal with this. There is another way, easier way to handle this. So actually it is here. We have occupied here. So let me just change my CSS. So we need to change. So this is the problem that we had. The stroke didn't have a color, so we don't know where it is done. So here you can see how the x1 and y1 corresponds to this, and x2 and y2 corresponds to this. If I keep my x1, x2 also as x1, see what happens. We are having a straight line. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? That's how we have learned our geometry here. So let's go to the next set of things. It is called as polyline. So have you heard of this polyline? So this is also one very important thing. But apart from this, maybe in line, I would like to show some more features. Like how we saw dashed array. You can give dashed array here also. So let us give some. Okay, let's fix this. Is this clear? No? So what we try to do, we are just increasing the y value, overlapping, so it was not moving. So let us make it straight lines, so that will be easier for us. Okay, so next one is what we need to go with. So when you're developing any code also, this is how you need to debug, try to see what is happening. See one, it is not like one shot you can achieve everything, right? Or you can remember everything. So you can see here, again, we have dash array. We have created dash array, we can do this. Another important feature here, let me increase the and increase the to so now I will remove the stroke array. There is another important feature, that is stroke lineup. So we can make it round. Let's see what happens. So you can see the edges where the line is there. It is being made round. Just hold on. Sorry guys, I think my kids are right, they want to play. So, so I think we learned about this. Next one we will see is polyline. Now I'll go a little bit fast so that we have already consumed a lot of time. So let us go and try to explore more. Okay. So polyline is something where you try to attach multiple connections and then come up to a point. So let me show what it is, then we will understand once again. And I will show you another important. This is not something specific to Harmony. This is the graphics that is available. So you can learn this terminologies that is available. So I'm just giving some random numbers that is coming to my head. So more than 2 if you give, it will create a polyline. So what am I doing here? I'm just creating a path for line to be formed using the tag polyline. So what happens here? Oh, I have not given. So it is actually a XY combination we need to give. It's my mistake. So for every line, you need to give a XY coordinate. Right? So each one is a pair. So how we create this things? There are many ways to do. If you create, there are graphics engines which will provide you back all these coordinates in a simplified manner. And that we can use it. Okay. I think the mistake we are doing is we are not fill the stroke. So let me, and in the root property, if you give any value, it applies to all the things that you have inside. Can we see here? Stroke. Stroke. So this is the thing that has been formed now. So polyline is actually trying to show a different set of line over there. So the same thing we can also do. But while fill is not there. Hold on a second. Oh. Okay. This is what we were expecting. This is a standard one. So how to know this one? You can go to any of the documentation in graphics. This is about path. So for each of the elements, how you will get stroke, what you can see here, how the path is defined. I will come back to this. We will learn more on this. Okay, in SVG we can see how each of these attributes, everything will work. So you can see paths. So in paths, you can see polyline. Just now we saw polyline. So polyline provides certain options. So each one can give you different lines and paths. So this is one example like that. So we can see multiple examples in this one. So here you can see I actually use similar example where my XY coordinates starts from high, reduces, and then goes back and it does this. This is clear. So don't have to worry how the points, how the connection happens. So there are many sources where if you're given a certain structure, it will provide you what are the coordinates that you need to fill in. So it will clearly give you them. So I can directly copy paste this polyline just here, and it will provide similar output here as well. See, it is almost the same thing even I tried to do. The same thing, let us also try with for. So I have filled here. So I want to first do this. I want to remove this fill. Then I want to try with polygon. The same thing we will try. Just change the name to polygon. You know, there is one important difference that is happening over here compared to polyline and polygon. In polygon, the endpoints connect to each other. The starting and ending point gets connected. That's why you can see from here to here, it is getting connected. In polyline, it is an open-end thing. You can just give a stroke and it just be there. So let us remove this and see. See, that doesn't change anything. I'm just changing the fill here to explain you. Here it is just a stroke. Here it fills and makes a shape. So this is about polygon and polyline. So next we will come to a very interesting one that is called as path, which we just now saw in the other one, right? So let us see that one now. Here we will take help of open components and try to build on top of it, because those things are this mainly is important for you to create certain strokes, certain angles, certain arrows dynamically without depending on the basic components. You can create your own structures and components in here. So that's the advantage of SVG. And another thing is, if a component you have defined, it always depends on the size that you have given and how it is generated. When it comes to SVG, you can generate components which will have similar effect no matter the size of the screen. Whether it is small or big, it will still retain similar characteristics because we saw how our viewport works, right? So that is a key factor. Now let me go back to one of the most important thing. For any graphics, many of you would have already used Lottie, one of the library which takes Adobe After Effects, and you can use it in your animations. So internally, it uses all these components, the SVG components or graphics components, to draw all of these lines, a stroke, a line. So one of the most basic aspect of it is path, drawing a path. So let me show that one now. So I have already collected few of this because I cannot remember this and add. So let me show this now. This I will share it in the chat. You guys also can try. So when I share this, you see what happened? I just created a heart. So what exactly is this that I have drawn? So automatically a heart has gotten created. Let me show that also over here. So when we go here, we saw about path, right? So let us go. This is, if you see, this is a documentation on SVG, nothing to do with Harmony. I am showing how to achieve the same thing in Harmony. You see this, what has happened? So here also, what I have done is I have added a little bit extra in terms of stroke and fill. That's it. So it is the same component. I have just tried to fill here. I have added stroke blue, width of the stroke, and filled it with red. So without having a emoticon, you can actually generate a similar icon. So how do we, again, the question comes, there is a syntax behind this, how it has to happen. We don't have to know this. There are many online tools which will convert a shape, particular shape into SVG format. The SVG uses XML notations over here, so which helps us understand each of this. So one example I would like to tell you, here we are giving many values here, right? Here M stands for move to. So for the drawing, what we are trying to say to draw on canvas is on SVG move from 10, start a point from 10, 0. So this is the starting axis where we are telling A. A means write a ellipse. So just now we saw how ellipse is drawn, right? So he is trying to give the coordinates how ellipse arc should be drawn, and it is trying to do the reverse over here. You see here, except from few coordinates, it's actually identical. So it is trying to do the other part of it. And then it is a curve that you need to do for Q and Q. So to understand what we can do, we can delete and see if it works. See what happens. I just drew an arc over here, elliptical arc. Then I have drawn a basal curve. So that is over here. And the last one, if I remove, what happens? Nothing much. It's a closed path. So it is just trying to tell we are having a closed path. That's it. So path has this much of information. So there are many other things about path. So most important thing you should know is there is a way how you can do all these things. So let us take something more dramatic in this path and try to do some more exploration. Let us take help of this path. I think I have saved. So here you can see polygon, polyline we saw. Now we will see text path and along with the path. Let me show you. These are all more of how the arc happens. So let us see this and then learn from it. It's totally wrong. I think I know that. Oh, I should do sports. Yes, you have to. Okay, so we saw half portion of it. It is direction of the form. I think I can fill this in another SVG where I can compactly say where I want this to be. So, hmm. So you can see what has happened over here, or let me comment this. Can you see this? What is this structure? This is a special one. So let us understand this very easily. First and foremost, the path has been laid down. So this is more important. So that we can directly delete this rest of the things and see what path does. So I've actually created something different here. So where it is having strokes, right? So here you can see we have created this arch. So now what happens over here? As I said last time, you can actually fill something over here. So for this entire path, we have just filled it, and it is connecting that. That's it. So now what we are doing, we are adding a text element. So the text element also can have children, right? We have seen this path. Inside SVG, it can have a path. If you observe the path of this, it is same as what I have given the path for the line that has been drawn. So it follows the same line of that. So you can add any text over here. It follows the same thing. Here, along with that, we have added some more elements so that we can cover more contents and components over here. Text span is another one. We would have seen how, so it is to manipulate text, right? So here, the first thing what we are given, this is a text span. So using T span. So, and then we are seeing, let's play. We have added that one over here. So this is a default text path. If you give it, this is how it will come. And then when you add here, this is T span on text path. And then you see how it changes. Here you can also give additional strokes, width, everything to this. So in this way, you can create images, you can create graphics, something that is not directly available. So you have an open canvas to write whatever you want to. So this much is clear to everyone. So if this is clear, we will go to another important one called what we were waiting. The entire chapter is about animation. So let us go to that one now. Is it okay if I continue for another half an hour? Guys? Okay. Prashant says yes, that's nice to hear. Others? So animation, I think it will be interesting. Let us see, we'll make it fast this one. I would like, usually I like to code and see each and every line. If at all there is a mistake, try to debug. That's how we learn better. So I follow that one. So if you guys feel this is consuming more time, explaining is usually the easiest part. It is about doing it with you guys. So that is something that is really good, right? So let us see that one, how we can do this. So I'll just complete animation. Maybe Monday, if we have time, we will cover rest of the things. Okay. So let us take first a rectangle. What we are covering today is only JavaScript based. So next week I will also cover TS based animation that is available in Harmony. So let us take a very simple rectangle. So animate is a property that is given which can animate or transform some of the properties that are already available in the SVG component. So I'm giving the position. I'm also giving the RX width and attributes and other components where it is supposed to show the width of components. Here, what else is missing? RX if we are here, we need to do RY as well. Usually we use this very less, so that's the reason my hold on this one is a little bit slow. I need to remember each one and then I need to do. So now we again, like how we have seen, we have immediately created a rectangle. So now we will go to the actual one, animate. So what you want to animate? I want to animate an attribute name. This is a common syntax. So what I will do, I will try to give Rx as a parameter, which I have defined here. And then I have to give values to it, how you need to animate. So start at 0th position, then you move to 20, 40, and 60. Actually, what it is trying to Rx and Ry is not corner radius, right? That time we try to change the corner radius. So now also we will try to change the corner radius and animate that. So how am I changing the corner radius of Rx? First, let me make it 0. Then I'm making it to 20, 30, and 40. Here, Ry comes into relevance along with Rx. So one of the important thing for any animation is the duration in which you need to complete the task and whether you want to repeat it. I want to repeat it indefinite time and I want it to animate. So let us see what happens. Can you see how it is animated? So this is about changing the corner radius. Now somebody might say this is too much of a corner radius. I don't want it. So let us make it very small changes there. That is happening because we change this. See what happens. Nothing is happening. Right? So you need to always have Ry to be changed. Then only you will have both the corner radius Rx and Ry both will change. So this is one example. Let me take another one quickly. So if you see here, I have given a fill of pink, but it didn't take because I have overridden here with another fill of brown. So let me take off this. It should work. Right? So let's go to the next operation of animation. So right now we saw one attribute change. Let us use another attribute to do the same. So when you will use these things? Whenever you want to control the component and its characteristics and show it with animation, you will do this. So let us take another rectangle. So maybe this time, let me add a fill for our clarity. So right now we have a fill, right? Let us play with fill itself. We have green. I want to fill with what? Here you need to give the value for this thing. Let us make it yellow. So duration, we can do it in the same way. Next, what I can do, I can multiply the animation with multiple attributes at the same time. So now what I can change is height is something that is fixed, right? Now what I'll do, I'll do the animation on height. So since it is height, the value should be numeric, right? So, but how does it work? In terms of attribute, when it is a numeric one, we need to give 3 parameters from where to begin, where to end, and from what to what. Means the values from what to what you want to start. You let us take height, retain it same as 50, and let me increase till what? Till what we will increase? We will make it 200. So the height will show as though it is increasing. And when do you want to start this animation? You can start along with that. Let us see that. See what happened. And the repeat count I can make it is 3 times. It stopped, right? But we have a problem with the other one where it is infinitely doing, but we cannot see that. So let us handle that one also. So we have to tell from when you need to begin this. So every time when it reaches 500 milliseconds, you can start and end along with. So now what is happening? You can actually see the color change once, but this is not what we want, right? We want it to be more clear. So what will we do? So can you see what exactly happened? We can do another thing over here. So here we cannot handle fill, but we are parallelly doing one important thing over here. So this is see what exactly is happening. So when I'm trying to do animation, one of the key thing what we have done is two parameters. Initially it was pink. Once we triggered, if I make this one also three, it will do only 3 times. See what happened after 3 times, it retained back to the original color that was green. Here I have a fill of green, so it is moving back to that color. So when it is repeat count, indefinite count, it is trying to fill that blue all the time. Every V-sync that you see, it is trying to paint it again green, sorry, blue. So, but when we are doing it once, see, 1, 2, 3. But if you see what the third time when the drag is happening, what exactly happened? In between the animation, second animation is happening. That time itself, it turned to pink because we start and end this animation from 500 to 1000 milliseconds. Here, it completes before that, and then the previous response, previous parameters got added. So once again, let's see this. So should we do only for rectangle? No, we can give it to all the components we saw. We can do the same thing again here. So let us remove rectangle now from the picture and let us bring in a circle. So circle also has a certain feature. So circle also expects, apart from radius, it accepts Cx and Cy like we saw the positioning of it. And the most important one is R. So maybe we'll do 60. Now we can always play around with stroke width. Stroke width can be 10 to be visibly there for us. Stroke can be a color. And make it blue. And you can also fill this entire thing with red. Let's see whether a circle is created. The circle is drawn because we have so we have a circle here, you can see. So now we will add some animation to this circle. So what is the thing? So why can't we move the circle from one position to another position? So right now it is starting at 180. Let us make it more realistic. Let us make it at 50. That's 50. It's too much okay. So it is 20. See So right now we can clearly see. So now I want to animate in such a way. I want to move this entire. Where do I keep this? Inside a child of circle is my animate. So last time, how did we see? We have to have an attribute name. Now let us use attribute cx, the location. Now again, last time when I said when a numeric is there, one important thing you need to use from and to. So from, let us take it as 80, and to, let us make it as let's see how it looks. Let us give some duration to this. Duration can be in 2000 milliseconds. Repeat practice. So let's see what is happening. We have created a loop here. It looks like a loop, but actually it is not. So let us see how, if you reduce, how does it look. So when you see this, actually I have given only a particular location because I was giving more here. It looks as though it went and it is coming back. So if my starting position, just if I make it as 60 maybe, you see what happens. Suddenly appears, so I can make it 0 also. It looks as though we are rotating, right? Even though we are not actually creating it, with such a simple 4-line statement, we can create such animation. So I think we have taken enough time. I think people are also dropping a before of this. So let's wind it up. So next time we still have animation motion, animation transformation, how a component that we have seen now, the Svg components, completely you can transform to something else, or for it to behave differently. We will see that thing. All right, any questions still here, or was it very easy? So this entire thing I will be sharing to you guys. I hope you are receiving all the online things that we are doing here. I'm sharing these codes to Shabd. I think Shabd or Vishnu might be providing it to you, uploading it to you guys. So you guys work, play around with all these options and see, try out as much as possible. All right. Thank you guys. We will have another session very soon on Monday. By then you can play around more with this. Thank you. Have a nice day.